Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your girl, Tony B, and we are back for day two. So, I know in the first video, I said that I wasn't going to do day two. I kind of was just going to let my podcast be day two because I am on another person's podcast today that I was going to drop, that's going to drop later. But I woke up and I just had like a lot of energy. I felt really, really good. I walked in the kitchen and the Holy Spirit said, "Why are you in here?" So I walked out and I was like, let me get dressed. Let me just go ahead and do a podcast and just share day two because I did come up with some really, really good scriptures and some information that I wanted to kind of back up with the scriptures. So, yeah, when I tell you that this is going to be amazing, and it's again, it's not we're fasting and praying for the release of our blessing. But it's not just about the blessing, it's also about getting you back in alignment with your body, with your true self, and with nature. Because we've been robbed and tricked into out of our natural state of being and the things that we're supposed to be eating. I want to say this. I've come to recognize that food is just entertainment. It is. It's entertainment. A lot of people are mixing up a bunch of chemicals and ingredients that don't supposed to be together and they're calling it food and they're posting it all on social media. So I'm going to give you a list of things that you should pray for in this time during your fast so you can be aware of the tricks of the enemy because he is out there. He knows your desires just as much as God. You know your desires. Well, let me say this. God knows your desires, the ones that you truly, truly want. And the devil knows the ones that are your temptations that are hard for you to just let go of. So you got to be careful because both of them know your desires, but you have to choose the path that you want to go down. Do you want to go down the path of keep eating cake and then eventually getting fat and being on my 600-pound life? Do you want to go down that path? I mean, you can. That's a journey. That's a hard journey. Or we can God can stop you before you even get there and take you down another path, which is going to be hard, but it's going to be so much growth. And you're going to be led to do things different and to lead people to a better life, just like I'm doing. Okay. So let's get into it. So we're going to call this episode um, What to Pray For. So be on the lookout for the things that you should pray for because, again, it's not just about releasing your blessings. We know they're coming. Whew, you got to have confidence that you know this thing is coming. You're doing the right thing. So you know this thing is coming. So it's not really about the blessing, it's more so about changing your habits and your mindset about the 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 things that we put inside of not only just our body but our ears and our heart. So fasting. Don't quote me on this, but there is a scripture that says, "Do not conform. Do not. Don't be conformed by the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." So when God is talking about that, the renewing of your mind could be just to be clear, getting clear, fasting. There in Matthew's, there is a whole chapter where God was on a 40-day fast. And the first person that tried to tempt God was the devil. If you eat this or do this, I will give you this. And it's the same way when you're on your fast, you're going to be tempted. You're going to be tempted. Listen, I was listening to this other video of this young man where he was speaking about it's not until he make a conscious decision to want to change his habits where he's tempted by the things that he's trying to let go of. He said he was going on a fast and he went into a restaurant. And on this particular day, he always goes to this restaurant. And on this particular day, when he decided to take control of his life, he said he was tempted by the waitress who offered him free cake. Free cake. And he noticed that as much as he has been in this restaurant, he's never been offered free cake before. Mm. Recognize the tricks that are being played on us, because it can seem like, oh my God, free cake. But it can also be looked at as, if I eat this cake, I'm then going to go back into those same habits and I'm going to have to start all over again, which is why the Holy Spirit led me to get out of that kitchen. Get out of the kitchen, Tanya. You don't need to be in the kitchen. So, I just challenge you to just recognize, and that's going to be part of the prayer, to know, knowing what you're praying for, because it's going to be so important to ask for these things during your fast, and recognizing that you need this more than ever right now, because some of us um haven't fasted in a long time, haven't detoxed it in a long time. So it's hard for you to pull away from food. It's hard from you to pull away. And you have to recognize that when you're fasting, you have to fast from everything. You have to fast from social media, because what you're going to see on social media, a bunch of entertainment of food. That's all you're going to see. You're going to see a bunch of entertainment of food. So you have to be careful that you're not on social media too much and you're being drawn into hunger, or you're being tempted into wanting to eat. Okay. All right. Let's get into the scripture. So the first one that I wanted to talk about was Matthew's chapter 6, verse 6 through 7. When you pray, oh, I'm sorry. Matthew's chapter 6, verse 25. Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or what your body, or about your body, I'm sorry, what you will wear. Life is more than food, and the body is more than clothes. Mm. Somebody needed to hear that. Do not worry about your life and what you will eat or drink. Oftentimes, we struggle with, oh, what am I going to eat today? What am I going to drink? We don't have no food in the house. We don't have no food for the kids, because you're used to going out buying McDonald's for your 2-year-old. Your 2-year-old does not need to eat that way. You do not need to feed your 2-year-old McDonald's all the time. It's okay to fast and to bring your family into a more holistic setting where we like, look, we're not doing the meats today. We're going to drink water. But then people have been like, oh, but my baby needs to eat. My baby 1 years old, he needs to eat. Baby, you can give your baby a smoothie and it will be okay. Your child is not going to pass away because it did not eat McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's today, or if it didn't have meat today. That's not true. See, we have to be transformed by the renewing of our mind, meaning we have to recognize the lies that has been pushed on us, the programs that has been pushed on us. We have to recognize those. Your child does not need to eat this way. So don't worry. Do not worry. Fruit. you know, I don't see a lot of people pushing fruit on their children or vegetables. But what if we don't have nothing in the house? Do we not have a God that's greater? Do you not trust that God will provide for you? You don't have to go out and degrade yourself. You don't have to go out and worry and do things that are not in alignment with your true and highest self. You don't have to do that for food. You do not have to do that for food. You don't have to look like you're apart when it comes to clothes and stuff. We worry about what we're going to wear, oh, because we want the latest Jordans and we want the newest hairstyles and we want to look fly and stuff. We worry too much about these things that we miss what's important. We miss the tricks. These are just tricks that are being played on us where we feel like we got to have Gucci. We feel like we got to have Prada. We feel like we got to have some type of flashiness going on, right? We don't really need, and I know you're probably looking at me like, but you got rings and all this stuff on. But I'm not materialistic to designer things. That's the difference with me. I'm not materialistic to designer things. I can settle for things that just look nice, that's within my budget. That's the difference. I can settle for things that are within my budget that are nice. I don't have to have designer. You make the designer look nice, not the designer. I mean, designer is cool or whatever, but it's like, is it called for? Is it needed? When all of this stuff is going on, you'll soon realize when you are being transformed by the renewing of your mind, you'll realize none of this stuff matters. And only then will you stop chasing behind things that have no value or bring no value to you. Okay. Now we're going into Matthew's verse 6 and 7. When you pray, go into your room, close your door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. That's why it's so important to pray while you're doing your fast, because dedicate your heart, your soul, your mind, your energy to God during this time. So you can finally see that things can come together for you. You can finally be relieved from that dis-ease or whatever it is that you're struggling with in your life. You can finally be relieved from that. We don't have to suffer from these things for all of our life. We have a Father that hears us and sees us, but we have to seek him first. So when he said go into your room and close your door, that's just finding a secret place for you to have a conversation with him and pour your heart out about the things that you want. It's not going to be easy what's going to be exposed to you. It's not. It's not. What they say, be careful what you ask for. I'm like, I don't want to eat this stuff. I don't want to eat this. So he like, okay, go to herbs. Then like, I'm stuck because I've never used herbs as a supplement of food, right? I never just woke up and decided I wanted to just do teas. And, that was hard. It was a hard switch. It was a hard switch, but have your secret place where you can talk to God. Have that space for yourself. You can just pour out time, whether that's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Um, Pray for you, pray over your family. Pray that when you do come into this person that you want to become, allow God to help you keep it, because nothing is worse than having the body you really desire and then you lose it, right? So many of us work out because we want the results, we want to look nice, and then you get the body, and then you're not humble or you haven't prayed that, oh, I want to keep this, I want to stay on the right track, because that does require a prayer. And then you end up losing your abs, you end up losing, you know your glow, because you've fallen back into those habits. So have that secret space. Go wherever you need to go. Sometimes I go in my car and I go to the park, when I don't feel like I have that secret place in my house because it's chaotic. I go into my car and I find space to kind of just talk to God and kind of just like allow him to renew my patience. Okay. All right. And then we have Psalms chapter 35, verse 13. Yet when they were ill, I put on sackcloth and humble myself with fasting. So sackcloth is really just a garment to express your patience. It was something that they used back in the day, when they would go and pray. From what I've from the research that I've done, it was made out of goat. But we don't have to put on that to go pray or to fast. But these are the things that they did to help keep them on track. So you find what's important to you that you bring into your prayer, and that can be like your secret space, or um, that can either be your secret space or your secret item that you want to bring with you, whatever it is, whatever is important to you during that time. Definitely wouldn't recommend crystals or anything. Let me just make that clear. I wouldn't recommend crystals or anything like that. I- That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. Okay. And okay, so we have Acts verse 14. No, chapter 14, verse 23. I'm sorry. For them in each church, and with prayer and fasting, committed them to the Lord in whom they put their trust in. Trust God during this process. Trust Him, because it's like, who else are you going to trust during this time? Who else holds your blessings? Your friend doesn't hold your blessing. Your spouse doesn't hold your blessing. Your children doesn't hold your blessing. God holds your blessings. So you need to put your trust in God, because He is the one that's going to release it. And there's always an appointed time. That's why I say seasons are so important, because there's always an appointed time for things to happen. At the right time, things will be released. And for me, that was hard, because I'm like, today not the right time. Because today feels like the right time. Today feels like the day where things should be happening, right? But we have to know that at the right time, it will happen. It will be released to you. It will be yours to claim. And when you get it, your testimony needs to include God. And I think sometimes He has to get us in that place, because He don't want us to be fooled into thinking we manifested this. Yes, we did in a sense, but at the end of the day, God gets all the glory. He gets all the glory. If He can't get the glory for your blessing, then 9 times out of 10, I don't want to say that. So just know that He needs to get the glory for the blessing. That's important. Okay. So now we're going to go in and talk about what you should pray for. What's important for you to pray for during this time when you're fasting. And the first thing I put is to pray for increased wisdom and discernment. Sometimes we have bad company around us and we can't receive what's for us, because we haven't isolated ourselves, and we haven't learned the importance of being alone in a season. In part 1 of this series, I talked about how we may have to go through a season where we have to be still. And being still means we're not allowed to interact with people from our past. We're not allowed to have conversations or talk the way that we used to talk, because we're pruning. We're going through those phases where he's cutting the cords on relationships that no longer need to be alive in your life, of course. So He's cutting those relationships. And it's important that you pray for discernment to know who's around that is not a clean spirit, that could be stopping your blessings. Not everybody that you have in your life is going to be happy for you. And you got to know that. And you got to trust that God is going to remove the ones that's not supposed to be there, and then replace them after you come out of your training season with more nude and renewed love through friendships. Okay? Pray for patience, because you're going to need it. You're going to need patience. So make sure you pray for patience. It's so important that you pray for patience. Oftentimes we go out here we wake up in the morning, we don't even ask for patience because we don't know what today challenges are going to be. So in order for you to be prepared for those challenges, you need to ask for patience. Ask for patience and ask for wisdom. You know, I told God, like, please, I'm to the point where I only want to speak meaningful things. I only want to speak powerful things. So I pray that whatever comes out of my mouth is meaningful, is powerful, it's in alignment with who you want me to be. I don't want to say anything that does not glorify you, that does not bring more people to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to scare people away from wanting to have a relationship with God. I want to bring more people in because I think more people are already afraid of having a relationship with God. So I want to bring more people close to you. So make sure everything that's coming out my mouth is in alignment with who you want me to be. Shine your light in and through me. Like, seriously. So yes, you're going to need patience. You know, I even preached this to my daughter when we're in the car and, you know, a car cuts in front of us and she wants to aggressively beat my horn at the other car. And I told her, I said, hey, you need to put your patient hat on because you're not going to be able to make it through this day without patience. So pray for patience while you're in this car so you can get through your day and your day can be successful. Okay? We're going to need that. Every day I have to ask for that because I don't know what challenges life is going to bring. But I still want to have patience so I can still have peace no matter what happens. Pray that God closes your ear and your mouth gates during this season. And I got that from another pastor. Her name is Stephanie, but I can't pronounce her whole name. She's really, really good. She talks about, you know, the ear and the eye gate and closing and allowing God to close them in certain seasons. So closing your ears, meaning you don't want to hear what people have to say during your time of fasting. You don't want anybody to deter you from stopping your fast. Oh, you need food. You got to have food. You need meat. You need, you know, it's so many opinions of people saying you need, you need, you need. And then you don't hear God anymore because it's too many people in your ear. Too many people you're taking advice from. And this is why it's so important to have discernment to allow God to remove people out of your life during your season of pruning. Because everybody always have an opinion. And is the opinion that God showed you, or is the opinion of man? So you have to learn the difference. That's why discernment is so important. You have to learn the difference. Do I hear God or do I hear man? So if God is telling you one thing, then you can't listen to man. So you need to close your ear. Close your eyes will be not allowing yourself to get on social media and be tempted by all of these foods, you know, because it's tough. Because when you're fasting, you crave things that you don't normally even eat. I'd be like, dang, man, I want a baked potato with steak on it. And I'm like, I don't even eat steak. I don't even eat steak. So you got to be careful and pray. Close my eyes, close my ears. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I'm good right now. When I come off my fasting, I will have discernment. I will be renewed by my mind and I will be able to tell the difference if it's God or if it's man. That's so powerful. So yeah, pray for that. And then the last one is pray for guidance. You know, as you're on this journey, you have to ask God to guide you in the right path to receive your blessing. You know, you want to be in good standard. Well, not good standard, but you want to be in a space where you have poured so much into God that he guides you right into that blessing. He guides you right into that new job. He guides you right into that new house. He guides you right into that new relationship. You know, you don't want to miss nothing. You don't want to misinterpret it what another person is saying versus what God is telling you. Somebody can say, "Hey, I, you know, discernment, right? When you pray for discernment, you may have a friend. Like for me, I've been going out lately doing karaoke. And it's nothing wrong with doing karaoke, but I know that the season that I'm in, I can't be being seen as much because I know the season that I'm in, right? So I have to be careful that I'm not allowing myself to be tempted by the things that are being shown in front of me while I'm out doing these things. Because karaoke seems harmless. Seems very harmless to go out, have fun, and just do karaoke, but then there's other things there, you know? So pray for guidance. Pray that you're being guided. I heard God loud and clear, no karaoke today. It's Thursday, and I had a list of what I wanted to sing. But again, I'm in a season where I can't be seen in that way. Mm. So sometimes you're going to be in a season where you're not seen, you're hidden. God is hiding you. God is allowing you to be trained, so you have to be hidden. That's so important to know. Like, allow Him to hide you, allow Him to do the work that He needs to do in your life. So, again, you're not listening to man, you're listening to God. So, that is so important. So, that's pretty much all I wanted to really share today when it comes to what you should pray for and then the few scriptures. And again, if you're on this fast, make sure you comment and tell me how it's going. Share with me some of the struggles that you have, or some things that you would like for me to talk about, some topics that you would like for me to discuss while we're doing our fasting, because every day is going to look different. Like yesterday, we really, really touched on the food industry and how toxic it was. And today, we really just pray for um, we really just recognize what it is that we really needed to be praying for in this season. And you got to protect yourself and your body, because I'm sorry to tell you this, but the hospital don't care about you. The doctors don't really care about you. But you know who does? God. And God will help you care about yourself. Care about yourself. So act on love when you're choosing. Like, stay out of the kitchen today. That's all I'm going to say. Stay out of the kitchen today. If you know you're going to be tempted because you're hungry, because some of us will crave more things more than others, and just recognizing, like, when you're craving a bunch of sugary foods, you have parasites. So do a parasite cleanse while you're detoxing and while you're on your fast. That's more than welcome, because those deal with herbs. So now you're getting yourself more familiar with the different herbs that can cleanse you. So yes, even if you're craving carbs and stuff, could be some yeast that you have in your body that you need to cleanse yourself from. So go to your local herb store and ask them about these things. But in this time of fasting, educate yourself as much as you can. Go to Dr. Bobby Price page, go to Yaki Awaken page, go to Dr. Sebi page, get some knowledge. Get some knowledge on fasting, get some knowledge on the type of foods you should be eating, and you know, fill yourself up with information, so you're not tempted to go back. Because if you don't fill yourself up with information, you're just going to be filled up with man, and man is going to put a bunch of lies into your ears, and then eventually those lies are going to come out of your mouth, and then you're going to be spreading darkness. Mm. Okay, so that was all I wanted to share. I love you guys. And again, if you want a prayer, make sure you contact me. I will leave all the information in the description so you can reach out to me about a prayer, and I will pray for you in secret. All right. I love you and have a good day.